All right, let's get this party going. If you're singing, I can't hear you.
Oh, I was trying to be kind to the audience because my singing, I usually don't know the proper words and I'm not always in tune like 99% of the time. But okay, let's get
Yeah,
this party started. Whoop, whoop,
I
whoop.
know they missed our pump it up, pump it up.
Pump up the jams. I know that much of the song. Da da da, da da da, something. Okay. Happy Funny Friday.
Happy Funny Friday, my friend. For those tuning in, I'm Gwen Peterson. This is Denise Flood. I almost said Peterson again.
We're
Yeah,
family.
we took her in. Somebody had to take her in. And I'm the founder of Spiritual Communities Network, and Denise has been one of our longtime members of Spiritual Communities Network. And, we just needed to be able to visit each other a little more often. So here we are, airing our dirty laundry. Right?
I would rather think of it as lightly used.
You can always turn it inside out, right?
You know what? Okay, this will be my first thing because I don't know. I don't remember being this way as a child, but when I was a teacher, um, we did have children who couldn't stand the labels and the seams on their clothing, and now I'm like going to bed and I'm like, I don't care. I'm wearing this nightgown inside out. I can't stand or I'll be like, oh, I have to cut that label out.
Oh
And
my
it's
gosh.
like,
That's been me my whole life. My
oh,
toe I hated wearing socks because that seam, if the sock had a seam, it just made me crazy. It was like drilling holes into my toes. And, yeah, all of my clothes, there's no labels in any of them. First thing, as soon as I get it, first thing that comes off comes the label. I would like to say I'm gotten better at cutting my labels off without
I was
destroying
going
the
to mention
top.
that. I have a few things that right there at the top, there's like a little, oh, and if I was really vigilant, I guess I could stitch that up a little bit, but hey.
Or use a seam ripper, the thing that's made for removing stitches out of clothes.
I think I have one somewhere in the garage in my sewing box. That's where
No, I think I
that's
have one
where I
too,
got.
but see, that requires getting out the sewing kit, digging through the sewing kit, find the seam ripper, and I know I have one. I know I have at least probably 2, actually. So,
Oh, so if
but,
I can't find mine, I could call you up and borrow it?
you could.
You hesitated
Next time I
there.
see you, maybe I'll just gift one to you, but I still have to get into the kit and dig it out, right? I still gotta do that.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I do think I have gotten more physically sensitive, um, for those type of things.
Yeah, yeah, you
So,
know,
good week?
it has been a good week. Yeah, it has. There's been some interesting things cropping up that I'll probably allude to later on as things progress, but not at the moment. One of which I can talk on, which is I think you know what? Those who know us, we when you are tapped into your soul's bidding, if you will, when you're living from that soul essence and you're doing your meditations, sometimes you get this information that sometimes you accept and sometimes you have to grow into. And one of which was that Spiritual Communities Network's kind of going to go through a new rebranding. I know we just kind of changed some things up recently, but I think we're going to change up the name and kind of change up our website layout and everything. But I think it might take me the better part of the year to do it. So maybe by SpiritCon, in November when we celebrate our birthday with SpiritCon, I think I will. I think it'll be up and running by then.
Well,
Let's throw
small
it out. I'll
steps are
throw that out.
better. Small steps make it seem more palatable. I used the right word.
You did. So we can digest it. It'll be
Ah,
palatable and digestible.
well, and for others too, because sometimes when you completely change things up, people go,
What happened? Yeah,
right. I
I
knew
know.
where to find that. What did you do?
Yeah, I don't think it'll change crazy like that. It's, I'm already going, okay, we're going to make a slight name change. If we make a slight name change, I'm going to have all the little back end pointers pointing to the new stuff so that nobody gets left hanging out in the ether somewhere. And I'm thinking, it won't, we'll see.
Oh,
We'll
that's
see how it all
exciting
goes.
though. Change is, the one thing in life is change is the only thing that we know is always going to happen. So
Yeah. If you're
might as
not
well go
growing,
with
you're
the flow.
dying, right?
Right. And also, you're right about listening to the nudges because when we don't, things can come and then
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gonna happen one way or the other. So you can either go willingly or it can have it thrust upon you.
Yes. Yes.
And we've done
Very,
that
very
too.
true.
In fact, right before we got on, I was mentioning that I kind of slept in this morning a lot. I didn't have any appointments right away. Misty didn't have to get off to work. We're not babysitting the dog who thinks he's a rooster. So I was like, I'm not setting an alarm. I'm just going to sleep, just, and get up naturally. So when I got up naturally, it was like 11:45.
What time did you go to bed?
I'm a night owl, okay? I
Okay.
I
Yes.
always have been. So, between 1 and 2 is usually when I go to sleep, and I usually get up between 9 and 10, all right?
You've got more
And
sleep
so
than
but
me.
this morning, the cat had gotten me up because he drinks water out of the faucet, right? So he had woke me up because he wanted to drink out of the faucet, so I did get up for him for a couple times like that, and when I laid back down because I didn't look at the clock, I was like, still feeling tired, knew I didn't have to get up, so I was gonna lay back down, and the reason one of the reasons is because have you and I know you probably can relate, so I'm gonna throw it to you. Have you ever, when you've gotten up in the morning, felt like you have not had an opportunity to sleep because spirit just was, like, working you over all night long to where you felt like you were working, like you were in class, all like you went from class to work to this. And when you're getting ready to wake up, you're like, but I don't feel like I got any sleep at all. Can you relate to that?
I can. And a while back I bought a pen that has a little light on the bottom so that some of the things that I think, because when I think, oh my God, that was so incredible, I will remember that. I wake up and I'm like, I will remember that because
It was so
it was so
good, right?
powerful and so
How could you
good.
forget something that important?
And then I wake up and I'm like, and I remember it for like, and I'm like, I'm gonna go write it down. And then I'm like, oh, where did it go? Oh, it's here somewhere. Hello.
Yeah, I attended I went to some class at some point early on, and it might have been one of our members, and it might have been in the spiritual communities classroom that I learned, somebody was sharing with me um, the doing that to keep a pen and paper by your bed so you're writing whatever comes through so that you don't miss it. And I was like, that's probably a good idea because, yeah, some stuff comes through and, maybe if I wrote it down. So I did that and I didn't get any sleep at all for weeks. I couldn't sleep. I kept being woken up by these thoughts. And then it dawned on me. I was like, no, 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 no. We actually are in control of that. So I told because Spirit was like, "Oh, that's when she wants us to talk to her. We'll just talk to her all night long." And so It was like, no, I sat with him and I said, "No, no, 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 no. I like to sleep. Okay, sleep is what I do. It's the human aspect, okay? You don't
Right.
get to sleep when you're in, spirit land." So I'm like,
Oh, Ruth is on. Hi,
"Hey,
Ruth.
Ruth." Oh,
Good
you know what? I didn't turn on the chat.
afternoon.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hi. So I had a one-on-one with him and said, "Not when I'm sleeping. You have plenty of opportunity during the day. Have at it during the day, but you let me sleep." And that was all it took. And from then on, anything of any major importance comes through during the day. But again, that doesn't stop me from getting up in the morning and feeling like I was sitting in a classroom all day or something, or
Well, I do a process called coning, and it's actually I have my two teams. Like one is for health and wellness, and the other is for business. And I'm like, okay, we're going to work from this time to this time. You got a 40-minute window to pour into me, and that seems to have kind of just created that time slot like I do schedule everything else. So I think that's smart. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because we are in control of that. I think sometimes we forget that, or sometimes we, pick
Got
up
to
bits
put
and
that
pieces
big
from.
sign right on your forehead that like they hang on the hotel doors. Do not disturb.
Right? Right, right. Oh my goodness. Why is
Well,
this?
speaking of
Oh, there we go.
classrooms, I was on last night for the community classroom, and it was really, really a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, block time with intention, says Ruth. I agree with that. Yeah.
Maybe I'll put no, it's will display here. Maybe I won't display the. Oh, now I overdid my thing.
Oh, but now you can see my hands more. Yeah, so I could do the dance.
Yeah, but then nobody has the QR code to visit us on. Oops, that's that other one.
Yeah,
Not,
because the
not
one you
that
have up
one.
top, it's under the live button, and I don't think that people can.
But you know what? I don't think the live button shows up in the recording.
Okay,
I want to say I double checked that. So
okay,
we'll
so
put
then
it
that's a good
there,
thing.
and then
Okay.
should we put the chat up so Ruth can say hello? Because you know what, Ruth? I just tried to respond to you in the chat thing. Oh my gosh, this
Oh,
is so.
Ruth says she can see the QR code.
Okay,
So
cool.
we are technically savvy without knowing it. I really like that.
Well, I'm trying to send her. You can type a message, but she must be coming through on, I guess, not one of the links I have. It must be something else because it's
It
I can't
says
respond.
it
We
says, oh no, there it goes. New comments will display here. Let's
yeah. So
inquiring
but I
minds
mean I
want
can't
to
I
know.
can't type a message to her. So she must be somewhere else where I can't really see that. So
I don't know.
there you go. That's what we got there. So yeah, so I slept in and kind of scrambled around a little bit to get ready for my time with Denise.
Well, and I have to laugh because I have to say, I said to you right away, I know you don't have the dog because nobody gave my dog the memo that it was daylight savings time. And we get to bed around 12:30, 1 o'clock, and he is up sniffing at the window by 6:45. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Nelson, we babysat Nelson last weekend. Yeah.
How does he do?
Sunrise.
He's
He
he's
is
like
up
a
at
hound dog,
sunrise.
right? Does he howl?
He does. It goes, "Arr." Yeah, and he revs up to it. He goes, "Arr, arr, arr." And you can hear him because it's loud. Arr, 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 arr. and it
Oh,
and it
you should,
carries for
yeah.
miles.
I just have to laugh at that. I was looking at, going through some things, and I think it was on Instagram where I saw a post of new parents, and they lived in an apartment building, and they had a colicky baby, and so they hung a sign on their door, and they put a little bucket on the door handle with the little courtesy booze bottles, and said, "To our neighbors, thank you for your patience. Have a refreshment."
Right. Or earplugs.
Yes, yes, earplugs would be, I use earplugs, not to call anybody out, but my significant other. I wear earplugs to bed at night, and because the vocal sounds are reverberating. And then also when I go to Miami to visit the kids, because I'm not used to that much noise anymore. I mean, I used to live there, and you get used to
Yeah.
where you are, and it's quiet here. And I go over there, and you can hear the metro rail, and you can hear the street, and um,
City
it's
life.
like,
You hear city life.
and the lights, so I bring a little thing. I mean, I must look like a nut, but I get some sleep.
Oh, there's mom. She's got her eye patch thing on and
And then they're trying to
earplugs.
talk to me, so then they have to like touch my toes, because I'm like,
Don't
I
mind,
can't
she's
hear
got
you.
her pajamas inside out. You must be a sight.
Oh yes. You know what they say, pride cometh before the fall.
I'm
So
surprised you don't have more children than you have. You'd think Michael'd be all over that.
hey, there I have to say, oh my gosh, when I even see myself sometimes, especially when it's cold here, because I've got my hat on,
I've
I've got my
seen you when
robe.
it's cold.
I don't always have a scarf that matches the rest of the ensemble, but I'm like, and the fact that he gets up and goes, "Good morning, honey," I'm like, oh, I know I'm loved.
So you go to bed like that. So when we see you doing your videos on your social media and you're bundled up like that, that's you rolling out of bed, right?
Ah, many times, many times.
Oh dear.
Ah,
Oh dear.
yeah. And I remember when I was just looking at this, because I had things come up, because it's March. I had things come up when we first started the lockdown, and we first started doing everything virtually. And I was doing a virtual class for a networking group on my business. And I was like, first one I ever did like that. And I was like, wow, it went from, oh, full makeup, making sure the background was like pristine, and I had everything set up to like, yes, rolling out of bed and going, "Hey, how's everybody today?" Like,
I've had people go, "Hey, that top you wore the other day was really cute." And I'm like, "Thanks, it's my pajamas."
oh, we have changed. And I think it's better, because what I realized, I was really holding myself back, thinking I had to be like camera ready. I was in a seminar last weekend for 4 days with Ruth, as a matter of fact.
Aw,
And the funny part is, they were over 2 hours late getting started because they had technical issues. And this was a huge, I mean, huge, like 30,000 people going virtually on this seminar. And I thought, look at me, how I have beat myself up over the years of not being perfect, of not like, oh, something happened, and like it's not working, and feeling that like inside turmoil while we're, and now I'm just like, that just made me think, you can have the best equipment, you can have the best tech people, you can have everything, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And you
yep.
just go, hey, sorry, here we go again. And so that was a
Right.
really good thing to remember and learn and really, I feel so much freer now.
And I've learned that you don't always have to have your camera on. As if you're not the host, like in this situation, you and I need to have our cameras on.
What are you saying? I don't look perfect?
No, what I was saying is I used to, well, I still do attend a lot of online meetings. And I was always like, like you said, "Oh, make sure your hair is brushed, lipstick, and right there, right there for the camera. And you're in this mix of like 20 people. And I'd always have my camera on and I'd be like, laser focused right there, commenting, reacting, and then I started realizing like, you're the only one that's like psychotic about this. Other people, they don't even turn their camera on. They're doing their dishes somewhere, right? They're probably in the shower. But I was always nervous that somebody might, because my picture was there, they might go ahead and call on me. I wanted to be ready to respond. And then I realized that most hosts realize that if a person's not on camera, you just don't direct to them.
Right. They wouldn't probably unless you did the little hand raise, you know? So yeah,
Right.
no, it's true. And that's why I love having like the capability of having mobile devices or earphones so that you can walk around and get things done while you're attending
I would sit in
meetings.
some Yep, because I would sit in some conversations where I was like, "Oh, I had too much coffee. I gotta get to the bathroom, gotta get to the bathroom, gotta go pee." And I would sit and sit uncomfortably for a long period of time until I gave myself permission. And then, over these last 3 years, thunderbolts come in, and all of a sudden it's like, "Gwen, just turn your camera off and go to the bathroom. Remember to unmic. Make sure you're muted." Because I remember at the beginning, when everybody was starting, you would hear stories about people, forgetting to turn
There
off
was
their
a
microphones
newscaster
and
like that that had not like just completely forgot. And people were like, turn your camera off, turn your camera off. And they, yeah, hey, it's the new virtual world. That's really what it is. And
yeah,
I
and I
actually am
remember.
enjoying it. I really am. It's helped me connect with way more people than I was reaching on a one-to-one or even in our small community things. Like when we were doing the different group meetings, it was like, yes, you might have 10 or even 50 people, but when you can go on and connect with the big wide world,
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people will say, "So Gwen, when are you gonna start doing your, in person this or in person that?" And I'm like, I don't think I can go. I mean, I could, but it would be for a very small group, obviously, because most of the people over the last 3 years, Spiritual Communities Network's been global anyway. It's a lot of the stuff they do has always been online, but like their community classrooms have always been online. But my own work personally just has attracted international following that you can't unring that bell. You need to stay present that way. So most of my stuff is going to stay online just for that, from that standpoint. Is because, and I know for you too, because you've been very active in social media and very active with the Spiritual Communities Network stuff, so it's definitely made you very international as well.
I know, I love it. I just think and you meet so many different interesting people, and that I love that diversity and that ability to connect with people who have different viewpoints or have, different experiences than I do, or have commonalities that you wouldn't think of like 10,000 miles away. And it's
Right.
nice. Yeah.
And, I'm gonna segue to, I love, like, the fact that we have like YouTube and Netflix and all those streaming type things available, because I've been able to visit with, various cultures and countries and stuff. And one of me and my daughter's favorites is to watch Taskmaster. And now it's kind of become a little universe now. They've got different countries that have picked up the Taskmaster ball. And but the original is British, right? Hysterical. Oh my gosh. If you love British humor and
I
you
haven't heard of that. I'm going to write it down
oh
because
my god,
I'm
it's
not
on
going to trust
YouTube.
myself to remember.
Yep, it's on YouTube. It's Taskmaster. And oh my gosh, it is it's hysterical. It is just hysterical. And like I said, it's kind of branched out. So like New Zealand picked it up. So New Zealand's got their own New Zealand Taskmaster. So we were like, okay, well let's watch this. And one of the things I learned through all this is not all English speaking people speak English or speak American. Let me say that. Not all English speaking people speak American.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It took me half the season to figure out what they were saying, what the New Zealanders were saying. I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that accent. They put a hard E on eyes on words, and so it'll throw you off, and you're like, what is he saying? And then I started watching some different things with Irish people. And again, you're thinking, Irish, English, what's to know? And
Oh, that's
it's like, who are these tree kids that they keep talking about?
and Scottish as well. Oh my gosh. I used to, when I would drive around years ago, I tutored and I'd drive from person to person's house, but I'd get books on tape. And I got it was actually the Outlander series, which is now movies or TV series. But the accent, and then I'd be going in the house and I'd be like, I would be carrying it forward. So I'm going to have to be cautious listening to Taskmaster, because I tend to, like, if I listen to something a whole lot, I tend to like pick up a little bit of the brogue, as they say.
I do that with, I'm a big one for PBR. I love to watch the Cowboys, right? You listen to them long enough and you start picking up a Southern drawl.
Yeah. Yeah. I visit my friend in the Carolinas and I can relate to that. And it doesn't take long. It's like, oh, I've only been here half a day. And I'm like, yeah, all right.
Oh, you know what? I went to school with this one girl, and we're from the east side of Detroit. All right. If no one's picked up, I didn't know I had a Detroit accent. People have told me you have a Detroit accent, or they'll ask me where my accent's from. And so one of the girls I grew up with, okay, through high school, it was after high school, she got married, she moved to Texas. Ran into her at a class reunion or something. And she went from kind of a normal pitched voice to this high pitched country Texan. You can't say country, it's Texan. It was this high pitched Texan talk. And I was like, oh, holy crap. You don't even sound like the same person at all. How do you even get your voice that high?
Yeah.
It was insane, but that's how
That's
she
funny.
talks now. And I was like,
Well, I guess
wow.
it's not just our bodies that because I had to put up the post. I had the little reel with sitting on the porch with Tarzan had his coat on and I had my robe and my hat. And he's like, come on, you're from Pennsylvania. And even before that, I was from further up north. But I'm like, you know what? After 40 something years here, your body acclimates. So the same way, it's not just our body, it's our way of thinking, our tone of voice. We get
You know,
acclimated to where we are. Yeah.
So should I segue really quick into spirituality on that one?
Why not?
So just like you can acclimate to this, Denise just pointed out so accurately that whatever environment you put yourself in, you will acclimate to. Keep that in mind. If you are struggling with something, you need to think about your environment. Where are you putting yourself? Who are you hanging out with? Who are you spending time doing things with? Where, just look at your lifestyle and start to change it up, because you too can have a high pitched Texan drawl.
I agree with you. In fact, the Ruth will know part of the conversation this weekend was you are who you surround yourself with. So even looking at your 5 best people, um, who is around you? Do they lift you up? Do they take you up to the, creating heaven on earth, or do they bring you down and go, life is. And I
So
like to be around people like you, like Ruth, like everybody in spiritual communities that just, we're here because life can be absolutely amazing if we tune into that frequency. And I love that. I love that
and you know
community.
what? And that's a plug for what we do on Fridays, right? Surrounding yourself with people who are uplifting and bring a smile to your face. So that's why I love connecting with you on Fridays. So like there's been a couple Fridays where you haven't been able to do it. So we've done a replay of old shows, but I feel like I've missed something
Yeah, yeah.
because I haven't gotten my Denise time. And it's like,
Oh, yay. I know, I know. Yeah, it is super important. And I always say that day that I looked across and saw you had little, this is how much the internet has changed. You had little books, spiritual community books, like we would add. And I was like, that just totally gave me a new community here in a new town. And what a wonderful community, because it is all the best heart and soul things and the ability to laugh at ourselves. Like I laugh at myself all the time. Gwen laughs at me too, everybody. Okay.
I laugh at myself. No, I was laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh, I laugh at myself all the time. I do I do some of the most ridiculous things. My daughter laughs at me too, and it's like, yeah, well, what do you say? What do you do?
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you, you know what? I remember when my daughter would go, "Oh, you're not funny, mom," to now semi, or mostly appreciating my humor when I'm like, "I am so funny," and she's like, "Yeah, mom. Yeah, you are. You are." Maybe
So
she's just humoring me still, but there's
maybe
humor in that.
I was doing like a jig in the middle of the room the other day, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm having fun."
Right? Yay.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh dear.
yes.
Oh dear.
How
So
does a half an hour go by so fast when you're having fun? Time
I don't know.
flies when you're having fun. There you go.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to keep it in a half hour thing because yeah, I just, I yeah,
Oh, one day I'm going to say yes. I need help with my puzzle. I'm stuck.
you're stuck.
Oh my word, I've got to move it from where I have. I realize the lighting, that puzzle is so intricate that the lighting is not like, I need a bigger space because I have them now in boxes, because I had it on my little round kitchen table. And it's
Oh,
like it fits, like the framework fits in, but then I have to be like, okay, it's not in this box. It could
yeah,
be.
you gotta, yeah, yeah.
So it would necessitate cleaning up my dining room table.
I know. Doing puzzles, you and I talked about that. Doing puzzles is, yeah, the lighting is key because especially if it's glossy, and they tend to be glossy puzzles, right?
Right, right.
And if you and I usually build my puzzles at night after I've done my stuff all day, right? And so you have that light rather than natural lighting. You've got that light overhead, which then turns around and
Bye, Ruth.
oh,
Thanks.
oh, see you, Ruth. Good to see you, sweetie. Take care. So it'll tend to get really shiny. So you can't, like you said, I can't see the colors and you're having to rely more on the shape, and that doesn't work if you've got one of those puzzles where all the shapes are the same,
Right.
I've had those. It's
Right.
like, I'm not even sure how you can make a puzzle where all the shapes are the same.
Oh, I don't know. But yes, anyway, that's something that I have to like figure out what I'm going to do because I don't want to give up and I don't want to put it away.
Right.
But that would necessitate just the few little
You need
things
to
I
get
have laid on the table.
TV tables. Get a little TV table.
Yeah,
Remember the old
I
TV tables from the
I do.
60s when you
Card
would
table. A card table is what
oh, card table.
yeah,
Well,
what my
the little
grandparents
TV
used to use.
tables.
Oh, this is a pretty big, it's a, I
No,
don't know.
I mean to sit next to your puzzle so that you have a place to put your puzzle pieces.
That's true. But again, you've been to my house. There's only so much floor
Yeah.
space.
You know, they make puzzle tables
Oh, uh-oh.
to where like
Do tell.
so you can build your puzzle, and then it has drawers where all the pieces go, and
Oh.
it was it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember coming across it. It was a puzzle table. I was like, oh, where would I put
Hmm.
that?
Yeah,
I would have to give up furniture.
right. Do we want a couch or do we want a puzzle table? That would be it in our
Right.
house.
Yeah.
And then actually part of our setup has our Tarzan is like 15 going, he'll be 16 in June. And so
Aw.
we have a very small house, but there's probably 3 different beds just in the living area because he needs something to cushion those little old
I
bones when
know.
he's
I
got,
know.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll have
okay.
to I don't know. You and I should get together and puzzle sometime.
Oh, yes. Well, that you didn't hear that hint. I need help with my puzzle.
I
You missed that.
I didn't get the in I didn't I'm sorry, I didn't pick up that you were looking for a space to puzzle.
I could. Well, you know what? We talk about screening in the porch outside in the back, but then it's going to be summer and it would also
It
need to
would be
be
wet.
air conditioned.
Yeah, it would be wet. Yeah, I've thought about that too. Can I use my lanai to puzzle? And it's like, no, it's not gonna work. Things
Yeah,
get
it
wet.
gets pretty
Things
damp.
get wet
Yeah.
out there. Um, let's work on that.
Okay. Any other puzzlers out there? If you're in the Naples area, help me discern which cat that piece goes to. It's like I don't know how many hundreds of cats are in this puzzle. And it's like, yeah, 6 tabbies. What does this one tiny piece go to?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Some of those puzzles are just insane. And I went to a garage sale just recently, and somebody was selling their puzzles. And so I picked up a couple of the little ones, and these people were so wonderful. They circled the puzzle on the picture. They circled where the missing puzzle piece was.
I
So
was
that
going to ask about
and
that.
I was like, "Hey, I'm all about that. I don't mind building a puzzle if it's missing a piece, so long as I know ahead of time."
I have a friend that cuts out, like if there's a piece missing, once he finds it, he cuts out the shape and makes and then like colors it in with magic markers. Yeah.
That's cute. That's a cute idea.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that there's a puzzle exchange?
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's a group that exchanges puzzles. And that's what they do is they circle on the puzzle. If there's a missing piece, they'll circle where the piece is. And, yeah, they just pop the puzzles into bags and they mail them out and people
Yeah,
they
because
exchange puzzles
I guess, do you need the box? I don't know. I
for
guess
the
you need the
picture.
picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the picture. So, yeah, but a lot of my puzzles, art and puzzles, I would probably separate from.
Is it like for me, it's like books. There are like books that, I will gladly give away the e-commerce book that I bought right when the pandemic started to like try and figure out new ideas for my business.
Mhm.
Uh, but not like my, like uh, any of the books on spirit or
Yeah, a number of
healing
my
or
puzzles were gifts.
herbals or, some of my puzzles are like that. They're not, they're like, or who gave it to me? That's the other thing.
Yeah, a few of my puzzles are gifted puzzles. Other ones are just, I had so much fun doing them that it's like, I wanna do it again.
It's just like rereading a good book, I think.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Gwen, you are so right. I'm going to say that for you and hear it. You are so right, just in case nobody else tells you today.
Tells me what?
You are so right.
Oh,
You're a genius.
thanks. It is good to hear that outside of myself.
This is really why we get on.
Okay. Before I pee my pants and start to cry because you're making me laugh too hard. But yes, we got a puzzle together soon. We'll have to figure that out. I'm going to file that into the part of my brain that figures things out.
Okay. I give you permission not to wake up in the middle of the night with the idea of when.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that because, yeah, that could have happened.
Wait, that's what friends are for in
My
good
little
times
my
and bad.
singing friend.
Okay, I don't know all the rest of the words, but you got the point.
My life, I would reference movies usually. You reference songs. It's a wonderful mix.
It is. Yeah, and I don't know, even with movies, Michael's really good at I'll go to him, "Okay, I recognize that actor." And he'll go, "Oh yeah, that's so and so, and he was in such and such." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you," because I knew he looked familiar or she. Um, and the same way with songs. I know about this much of thousands of songs, but not who sang it or the
And I
rest
never
of the
remember
lyrics.
names. And I think we talked on this before where I'm like, "Don't ever feel offended if I don't remember your name." I don't even remember the celebrity people's names.
Nope, nope.
Misty will say a name and I'll be like, "Well, who's that?" She's like, "Oh, it's the guy from blah, 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 blah." Oh, yeah, him. He's a hottie."
This is the other thing I love about like the virtual world is everybody's name is under their picture. So when you want to talk to somebody or send a message to somebody, you're like, "Oh, okay, I know who that is. Yay."
I've been watching so much stuff that's pre-recorded or whatever, and that I was doing something that was live. I think I don't know what it was that I was doing that was live, but I was kind of like, "Ooh, I need to back that up and listen to that again," and I was like, "Oh, you can't. You need." Oh, it was a seminar. I was sitting in a seminar listening to someone talk, and I was like, "Ooh, I think I missed what they said," and I was looking for the backup button, like,
There
"I
are
hope they
certain
recorded
channels,
this."
right? There are certain channels now that do that if you're watching something and it's like, "Oh, daggone it," like it's not it's live. Some of the TV stations now.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yes.
my dearest, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for
Okay.
taking time out to spend with me and
Oh,
anyone who'll listen. And it's always a pleasure to see that smiling face and to connect energetically with such a loving person.
back at ya, my friend. You always have me right in the heart. I love it.
Me too.
Okay.
You, me. Yeah.
Against the
Soul
world.
sisters. Hey, sister soul,
Soul
sister
sister.
soul.
Da da dee 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 dum da da dee da da. Watcha da 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 da.
And
Okay.
on that note, have a beautiful weekend.
Bye.